I wish to meet you here today primarily to discuss the evolving economic situation in the country and the management of the economy by the UPA government in the last 5 years. I'll also, in the course of my briefing to you, like to touch upon the situation in Sri Lanka. And then I'll be done and I'll be open to your questions. Friends, the most important issue in the economy today is price rise. I have just come fresh from my own election campaign in Jharkhand. And I can tell you that one overarching issue in this general election throughout the length and breadth of the country has been price rise. Even if you fail to raise it from your side, the people remind you about what is happening to the prices of essential commodities. We are faced with a very puzzling situation, because in recent months, the wholesale price index has gone down to almost zero. But the consumer price index continues to hover around double digit. The latest figures which have come, weekly figures of wholesale price index, when we compare them with the consumer price index, we find that there is a complete disconnect between the WPI and the CPI. And this is a kind of disconnect which has not been seen ever in our economic history. Sometimes you will have some difference between the figures. Sometimes WPI will be high by marginally and CPI will be less. Sometimes CPI will be high and WPI will be less. But in my memory, it has never happened that there will be something like a 10% difference between wholesale price index and the consumer price index. This puzzling situation has arisen largely because of one reason, and that is that when last year the government was faced with rising prices, the government decided along with the RBI to tackle the issue of inflation through monetary measures. They then tightened liquidity, raised interest rates, and had hoped that they will be able to get the better of inflation through these measures. I remember even at that point of time, a person like me has pointed out that the nature of inflation was different this time. That inflation was largely accounted for by the rise in prices of essential commodities like food grains, like edible oils, like sugar, like cement, like steel, and that monetary measures will not help in a situation of this kind, because the demand of essential items is somewhat inelastic and will not respond to monetary measures like tightening of liquidity or raising of interest rate. But the government was determined to go ahead with monetary measures. I also pointed out that this will have the adverse impact on other kinds of demand in the economy, namely investment demand and other kinds of consumer demand. And I'm sorry to say that this is exactly what has happened. The result of the government's and RBI's measures were that the economy, Indian economy slowed down. Its growth rate started coming down, and it had no impact on the price rise of essential commodities. And the fact that essential commodity prices are still at over 10% will demonstrate the failure of the government's approach. Our worst fears that these steps will have an impact on the growth rate of the Indian economy have also come true. And we are all aware of the fact that the growth rate of Indian economy has drastically declined. Now the government is trying to undo the steps that it had taken by raising CRR and SLR and reducing interest rates. But they are only undoing what they did last year. I'd also like to tell you that the government is trying to hide behind the global economic crisis and is apportioning the blame or laying the blame at the door of this crisis rather than to their own mismanagement. The fact of the matter is that the slowing down of the Indian economy predates the global economic crisis. The global economic crisis hit the world in the second half of September last year. The industrial production declined to 1.2% in August last year. It's a clear proof of the fact that the Indian economy had started slowing down as a result of the misdirected policies of the government of India. The global crisis has only accentuated the crisis. So this is one part of it. The second aspect of the government's mismanagement of the economy is the huge fiscal deficit that the government has run last year, 2008-2009. The government of India's fiscal deficit is likely to be in excess of 10% of the GDP. And if you take the states, then the national fiscal deficit will be in excess of 13% of GDP. And even in the bad years of 1991, crisis years of 1991, the fiscal deficit, national fiscal deficit, had not touched this level. That this should happen under the charge of a person like Dr. Manmohan Singh is even more shocking, because he is not only considered to be a world famous economist, but he is also considered to be the father of reforms in India. Manmohan Singh, during his prime ministership, has given a go-by to all the principles of economics that he had advocated as sacrosanct in 1991-1992. Where is Manmohan Singh, the finance minister, and where is Manmohan Singh, the prime minister, is something which can easily be judged from the fact that as finance minister he worked hard to reduce government's deficit. As prime minister he has worked hard to increase the government's deficit.